When will Forza Horizon 6 release? The short answer is that nobody knows for sure. Officially the game hasn't even been confirmed yet, but it is of course pretty likely that there will be a Forza Horizon 6 at some point in the near future. In today's video then, I'm going to talk a bit about the current state of Horizon 5, what we know about the future of this current game, and how this, along with what we know about other upcoming games, might give some idea as to when we can expect the next Horizon title to release. The first thing we know is that Horizon 5 has potentially reached its sort of end-of-life phase, with community-voted returning playlists with no new prize vehicles in them that will cycle probably for the rest of time, or at least until the game's servers are killed off, but this still hasn't happened to Forza Horizon 3, let alone the previous title, Horizon 4. This game will pretty much be forgotten by that time anyway. We also now have access to a lot of the previously rare cars through the Backstage Pass and Backstage Shop, which was previously seen in Horizon 4. Much like in that game, more cars will be available here as time goes on, so eventually we'll be able to obtain almost any vehicle that's in the game when we want to obtain it. Horizon Backstage was added to Forza Horizon 4 in October 2020, just over a year before the release of Horizon 5 in November 2021. This feature was added to Forza Horizon 5 in October 2024, so if this is the same kind of timescale for the next game, that would mean Horizon 6 would release in November of this year. Having said that, nothing in Forza seems to follow any kind of set timescale anymore, like it used to with their alternate years to release a Horizon game and a motorsport game and everything. It's all a bit up in the air at the moment and nobody quite knows what the timescale will be, so there's no guarantee of any of this meaning anything at all. We also know that Horizon 5 will be coming to PlayStation 5 on the 25th of April, which is of course the first time the platform will have seen a Forza game and will be the biggest title so far that's gone from being an Xbox console exclusive to also being available on PlayStation. I know the game's also on PC, but until not that long ago it was only available through the Microsoft Store until Horizon 4 came to Steam, and then of course Horizon 5 released on Steam as well as Microsoft Store. This release of the game for PlayStation 5 will also coincide with the arrival of the Horizon Realms update, which will allow players to go into essentially what are going to be private lobbies in a choice of 12 versions of the evolving world, which are basically the same main map that we all know, but with different themes, mostly in the stadium. One of these themes includes a brand new racetrack that will again be within the stadium like a lot of them, which does look like a lot of fun, although it looks very tight and technical. The update also brings with it 8 new cars, 4 that we can unlock with some Realms-related accolade achievements, and 4 in a paid Nissan-themed car pack. I do wonder if this will mark the return of paid car packs for a while, especially if they've decided they do want to extend the lifespan of the game, partly to give PlayStation players more time to play Horizon 5 before the next game, but partly for a number of other reasons. I hope that isn't the case, because it means more paid car packs, which add up to quite a large amount of money if you buy all of them, and also I would kind of like to think Horizon 6 isn't that far off releasing. As far as we know for the time being, this is the final major update, but it's not been confirmed either way that there won't be or will be future updates after this, so who knows. What about the elephant-sized game on the horizon that is Grand Theft Auto 6 though? Although GTA isn't really a racing game, it is a game that also contains a fair bit of racing. I very much doubt Forza would want to release a game at the same time as what will probably become the best-selling video game of all time. Whether you think it's a direct competitor or an indirect competitor, I would say it is certainly competition for Horizon. Some will choose one game over the other to spend their time playing. I can certainly imagine some people not buying Horizon 6 at launch because they want to put their gaming time into the new GTA instead, and then maybe buying Horizon later, hoping that it'll come up on sale or something. I personally think that GTA is more of a Forza competitor than a lot of people think. Put it this way, I think the majority of the Forza player base have played at least some GTA, and most of them will probably at some point buy the next game. Some will even prioritise buying that instead of the latest Horizon, as I said. It doesn't even really matter that Forza isn't a direct competitor if you don't think it is. All developers are slightly afraid of GTA anyway, and if at all possible, would avoid releasing any kind of AAA title at a similar time to that game. The only other game that we currently know is on the horizon, and may affect the release of Horizon 6, is Playground Games' other major title, Fable. It is being developed in a different studio, in a different building, on a different site, by a different team, so it shouldn't really have any bearing on the release of Horizon 6. It has though just been announced that that game will be delayed, having previously been supposed to release in 2025, and although the games are totally separate, developed on different sites in different buildings by different teams, financially the developers would much prefer not to release them at the same time and that their income was a bit more spread out than that. It's not ideal for them to release things close to one another. It may be that they've decided it's better to release two games at the same time than to compete with GTA and still release them at a similar time, but it's certainly another fact to consider, and I don't think in an ideal world they would want to release them at a similar time. Or maybe even the reason Fable was delayed is because they've borrowed some developers to try and speed up the development of Horizon 6. There's nothing to suggest that that's happening at all, but you never know what's happening behind the scenes. So Horizon 5 has sort of run out of anything new to do, or unlock, for the current player base at least. There will soon be an influx of new players on PlayStation, who I'm guessing the developers will want to give some time to experience Forza Horizon 5 before they announce the next game. Playground Games probably won't want to compete with GTA 6, which should still be on track for a release on console this year. However, Fable has been moved back to 2026, which may have no bearing on the release of Horizon 6, but releasing the two close to one another certainly wouldn't be ideal for Playground Games. I think either Horizon 6 then will be announced about 3 months after the current game comes to PlayStation for a release early into 2026, or, and I'm slightly worried that this is a possibility, the next game will be announced next year in 2026 and then not release until 2027. I really hope that isn't the case, because the current game has already sort of reached its end, and for a lot of players has become pretty boring by this stage. In another 2 years, imagine what it'll be like. The majority of players, I think, will have stopped playing. Most of the kind of more casual players will certainly have gone to other games, or switched to other racing titles if they haven't already. There is a chance that they would announce the game in about 3 months after Horizon 5 releases on PlayStation, and then release Horizon 6 earlier than 2026, maybe in November or December of this year, which would fit with how the timescales of everything worked out for Horizon 4, given when Backstage Pass arrived on that game compared to Horizon 5, and is obviously what I would like to happen, but I think that it would be a little soon after the PlayStation release for them to make the most out of those new players, and it would be competing much more directly with GTA 6 than if they released it even a few months later. I think all things considered then, it is now most likely going to be a 2026 release date. I did previously think that it would still be in 2025, but with the PlayStation release of the game, the addition of Realms, I think the developers are trying to extend the game's life further. Then they'll wait until after GTA 6 is released and release the next title early into 2026. So my final and best prediction would be that Horizon 6 would be announced in kind of July or August time this year for a release in February or March of 2026. Remember though, everything that I've said about release dates in today's video is purely speculation based on the current state of Horizon 5, some other games, and what I think. Playground Games haven't even confirmed that there will be a Horizon 6 officially, although I think we could all agree it's pretty likely. As ever though, do let me know your thoughts on Horizon 6. When do you think it will most likely be announced? When do you think it will most likely be released? For today's video though, that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.